Hi everyone, it's Ben here from Somerset Foodie. I'm really excited about this recipe that we're going to do today. This is completely seasonal cooking, absolutely at its best, and really happy to introduce to you a company that we got to know over the last few months called Roots Connections. They are a brilliant little charity organisation based near Stratton-on-the-Foss that grow all sorts of vegetables, salad leaves, but the key is that they're a charity and they offer employment particularly to homeless people. They have been supplying hotels, restaurants, and obviously that's challenging at the moment, so they're doing a lot of veg box schemes to deliver to people. So we're really chuffed to have some absolutely beautiful produce that got picked literally this morning. So we've got some amazing looking squashes. Look at these. These are absolutely stunning, all sorts of different varieties. We've got some beautiful fresh Cavolo Nero, some fresh chilies, some garlic, and then we're gonna pair that up with some of our lovely Orecchiette pasta, and we're gonna do just a fantastic dish. So yeah, really chuffed for this. So let's get going. First thing we're gonna do is make something that's gonna be a really lovely crunchy little topping to this pasta dish. It's called Pangratatto, and it's really made out of leftover breadcrumbs. And what we're just going to do, I've got some breadcrumbs here. So we just had a little bit of leftover ciabatta, a little blitz in a food processor, and then we're just going to get these on and fry them so they just go nice and crunchy and golden. I've got a nice hot pan. I'm using a little bit of garlic oil, a little bit of Fussel's garlic oil. That will just make these breadcrumbs really tasty. A reasonable amount of oil in there, and then just in with the breadcrumbs. And we're just gonna coat all those breadcrumbs in oil and fry them off until they're nice and crispy. So I've just chosen one of these squashes. I could have chosen any of them, but I like the look of this red one. Apparently it's called Orecchiette curry. So yeah, so we're just, I think you can probably eat the skin and everything, but in this dish, I'm gonna take the skin off. So so the skin on these looks amazing, but we're gonna whip it off. And I just love the fact that these were grown literally a few miles down the road by an amazing charity that's helping homeless people, giving homeless people brilliant opportunities. So we're just going to chop these, having peeled them and taken the seeds out, we're just going to chop them into kind of reasonably small chunks. We want them to roast quite quickly, so it can be pretty rustic. I mean, this is home cooking. This is seasonal cooking at its best. So don't get too worried about the size. You just want them roughly the same size so they cook in the oven evenly. So we just drizzle a little bit of rapeseed oil over these squash and give them a little mix up with your hands just to get that all covered over. And we're just going to season these this squash with a bit of this lovely Dorset sea salt. So this is harvested just down on Chesil Beach, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And just into the oven, pretty hot, 220 degrees for about 15 minutes. I just want to get a little bit of kind of gnarly charring on them. Just time to come back and have a little look at our Pangratatto. So that's pretty good. There's a little bit of goldenness. We're going to take them off the heat now, pour them into a bowl and just let them cool down, and they'll be a lovely crunchy topping on our pasta dish. So we've got the Pangratatto made, we've got the squash in the oven, get a pan on to cook our pasta, and now we can make our sauce. So I've got a pan on, another pan on, it's real gentle heat. I'm just going to put in about 3 tablespoons of oil. I'm quite generous, it's about 3 tablespoons of oil. And then, so into the oil, we're going to have some fresh chili. Just kind of add a nice bit of oomph to this. then we're going to grab some of this amazing looking garlic and add that into the pan too. Garlic, I'm going to slice it pretty thick really. I don't want the garlic to burn in the oil, but we're going to use about 5 or 6 cloves. I love garlic, and what we're trying to do here is create a really, really amazing, almost seasoning for our vegetable pasta dish. So that's heavenly garlic. It's fresh, it's come from Root Connections, and it looks amazing. We've got the chili in there. I've put the whole of the chili in. There aren't that many seeds in this chili, but you can have more chili if you want. And then we're gonna add some anchovy. So I'm using probably most of that tin of anchovies, and these are brilliant anchovies that come from off the coast of Italy. We sell them, they're heavenly. I'm just gonna dice them up a little bit, and they're gonna go in and just melt down in that oil. Little gentle heat, bring that up a little bit more. So we've got now the garlic, the chili, and the anchovy just blipping away in that dish. So we're using Orecchiette pasta. Now, just gives me a little opportunity to tell you about Armando pasta. You can buy really, really cheap pasta and you'll get a really cheap dish. You can buy fantastic, beautiful pasta that is slow dry to give you amazing flavour. It'll cook a lot better. You'll get just a much better result. And I know, you know, it's a little bit more expensive than what you can buy, but let's face it, what is it more expensive? Maybe 50p more expensive. In the grand scheme of your dish, it's worth spending money on some good pasta. So we've got Orecchiette, means little ears, 500 gram bag, we're cooking for 4. So I'm gonna use probably 2/3 of that bag, roughly. There we go. And this is gonna take about 10 minutes, and that can bubble away. A nice big pot of salty water is absolutely essential. Give it a little stir, and then just maybe stir it 2 or 3 times as it cooks. Cavolo Nero, absolutely love this. So this was picked here this morning from Root Connections. It's even got the dew on it. It's brilliantly fresh. It's absolutely heavenly. Now, it's quite strong flavour, and it also has quite a tough root stalk to it. So you'll get different pieces. We're really lucky because we've got some of the tops here. So if you get pieces like that, you just need to pull that stalk out a little bit, and you can use then the rest of that leaf. So we'll just prep up some of this like that. If you're lucky enough to get the tops, we're going to shred this up so we can literally, we're just going to shred this like that. We're just going to gently cook the Cavolo Nero just for a couple of minutes. So you can see that that's just been in the pan for about a minute and a half. But what we don't want is we don't want tough cabbage. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of the pasta water, cooking water, and put a couple of little ladlefuls, 2 or 3 ladlefuls, and that's going to steam and just soften up that cabbage. And by the time we come to eat, that water would have disappeared and the cabbage will just be perfect. Right, so those squash are really nicely, they're coloured up beautifully. They're soft and they're absolutely spot on. So we're just going to bring them out. So the pasta is just about ready. I'm just going to tip in the roasted squash into the pot and give that a nice little mix through. So the pasta's cooked, we just drain that off. Now we're just going to spoon that in with our cabbage and squash. Now that is just going to be perfect. The seasoning in there, we've got the garlic, we've got the chili, we've got the anchovy just acting as a beautiful seasoning to this. So into the plate. So a nice big healthy portion. Okay. Pecorino. Pecorino Romano, absolutely heavenly on pasta. It's that lovely, beautiful, salty, sour, sheep's cheese flavour. That's going to go on. I'm then going to add some really beautiful fruity olive oil. So our olive oil has a lovely, lovely fruity flavour. And then don't want to finish lastly with a little bit of our Pangratatto, just to add a beautiful crunchy texture. And we're done. That, my friend, is going to be absolutely heavenly. So we've got roasted squash with Cavolo Nero, Orecchiette pasta, and Pangratatto. Thanks so much to our friends at Root Connections for providing us with some beautiful seasonal vegetables. And yeah, the recipe will be on our website, somersetfoodie.com, where you can get all of these ingredients that you need. And yeah, we'll see you next time.